Hey guys, in this video we are going to start with SD-WAN. And what is SD-WAN, guys? Well, SD-WAN is basically the comprehensive multi-connection WAN solution. So SD-WAN is just a comprehensive multi-connection WAN solution. So basically you can connect more than one WAN or wide area network. And it can be said that it replaces everything, right? But SD-WAN is a virtual interface that consists of a group of member interfaces, a minimum of 1 and a maximum of 255, that can be connected to different types of lines. Configuration is simplified because we set one group of routes and firewall policies. Where we use the SD-WAN interface, it automatically applies to our interfaces that are members of the SD-WAN. And we can use various load balancing algorithms to route traffic to individual lines. For example, we can route traffic according to the bandwidth usage or the number of sessions per each member in the SD-WAN group. And we can create only one SD-WAN interface within VDOM. So only one interface per VDOM. And we can create a maximum of 4,000 SD-WAN rules and line health monitors. Interfaces that we want to include in the SD-WAN must not be used in most configurations, otherwise they cannot be included, which is what we're going to have to deal with right now. So the way that we create an SD-WAN interface or an SD-WAN zone, you go to network SD-WAN. You want to create an SD-WAN zone. And here we are going to just call it SD-WAN. And as you can see, the members, we have no members because most of the interfaces are in use right now. I will show you how to basically release them, right? So if we go to interfaces, since we want to use WAN 1 and WAN 2, if we scroll all the way to the right, you can see that this WAN 1 is being used 11 times. So we need to go ahead and delete this one. We need to delete this policy. We need to go ahead and delete all of this. So let's go ahead and delete. Then we also need to delete this guy. But we don't have to delete this too because they're just default. Right? So that has been released. I bet you now if we go to SD-WAN and if we double click over here, we can see interface members. There's still nothing in here because we need to go ahead and create a new one. And here you can see now that WAN 1 port 1 is open. It's available for us to use. The gateway for this one is 10, what is it? 10, 10, 10, 254. And everything stays the same. And now we can use the WAN 1 port 1. Close that. Now, since we want to add another member, wait, did I? SD-WAN, didn't I? Oh, I didn't add it to the correct group. Let me go ahead and edit the member. And we need to specify that we want to add it to the SD-WAN zone that we just created. There we go. Now it is in the SD-WAN zone that we created. Now we need to go ahead and release the other ports that we want to use so we can add it as a member. We can see port 2 is being used in 3 policies. So we need to go ahead and delete these 2 or these 3. Awesome. We cannot delete it from this one, so that is fine. So this should be good to go now. Now if we go to the SD-WAN, you can just go ahead and create a new member. Create a new member. Now you can see WAN 2 port 2 is available, and we need to specify that we want it in SD-WAN zone. Gateway is 10, 10, 20, 254. Everything else stays the same. Press OK. Great. So here we are. We are now have this SD-WAN zone created. In this zone, we are going to be able to use it in a policy, right? And so the next step that we want to do after this is that we want to go ahead and create the policy that is going to allow us to go out, right? So we're going to go over here. We are going to go into policy and objects, firewall policies, and in here we have some policies, but we want to create a one that goes from VLAN 192, right? VLAN underscore 192 to when the incoming interface is going to be 192. The outgoing interface, this is where it matters. We need to go ahead and select the SD-WAN. Source, we can just to be more specific or more granular, we can just add VLAN 192. And destination is going to be all, service is going to be all, flow base, NAT is good, all of that is good, and also enable all sessions for the log allow traffic. Okay, so now we have the policy. What we can do is we can log into this machine, Windows 13, or actually before we do that, we also need to change the algorithm. So there's not, oh, and also I forgot something else too. There's no route, right? So we need to go ahead and create that static route. So we go to network, static routes, create a new route. We are going to go everything, right? A default gateway. And for this one, we're just going to add interface. The interface that we want to add is the SD-WAN, which has the members of WAN 1 and WAN 2 in it. I press OK. That is active. So now what we need to do is we need to go ahead and change the SD-WAN algorithm. The way that you do that, you want to go to config, system, SD-WAN. And inside here, we are going to set the low balance mode. And if you do a question mark, you can see the rest of them. There's a source IP base, and here's a description for it. Here's the weight based. There's the description for it. And then we have the source destination IP base, which is the one that we're going to be using. And the source destination IP base, it says that the source and the destination IP load balancing. All traffic from a source IP to a destination IP is sent the same interface. So basically, if I go out via the WAN 1 port 1, it's going to come back the same way. It's going to come back via the same port or interface. So that's the load balance that we are setting up, and let's do end at the end so you can save it. Great. So the load balancing has been set up. We have also created the static routes. Now we can go ahead and do some tests, and I'm going to log into Windows 13, which is on VLAN 192. And over here, let me go ahead and log in. There we go. And we can just do a simple ping. Let's go ahead and just ping. What are we going to ping? Who do we want to ping? We want to ping, let's say, youtube.com. You can see that we are able to ping youtube.com. So that is great. We are able, DNS is working, and also everything else is working. And what is this IP config? This is the 103. So now if we go ahead and test and verify this connection, we go to forward traffic. And in here in the logs, you can see this guy's making a hell of a lot of connections. But we should be seeing some YouTube traffic in here. I am not seeing it. Maybe if you add a filter and say destination YouTube, and I guess this is the YouTube traffic. Well, this is HTTP traffic. I want to see the ICMP traffic. I guess it hasn't synced yet. And all we're seeing is the old HTTP traffic over here. But yeah, well, you can see over here that anyways, it is still going out via the SD-WAN, right? If you double click on this to expand the details, you can see that it's hitting, this one is hitting WAN number 1, which is fine, the NAT IP, and you can see the IP of this device, really chatty, and you can see that it's using the VLAN 1922 WAN policy that we created. So everything is working very good, just the way we wanted it. Let me do another refresh to see if we see the ICMP. I see HTTPS. I don't see any ICMP in here, guys. You just gotta give it some time so it can synchronize. Alright, but yeah, this is it for this video. This is how you configure an SD-WAN. How to add members to the SD-WAN. How to configure a zone with the SD-WAN, or how to configure a policy with the SD-WAN. How to configure a route for the SD-WAN, and how to change the load balancing algorithm for the SD-WAN. So this is it for this video. On the next video, we are going to be working with the SD-WAN rules.